understand nothing was done for me, so I don't plan on stopping at all.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. So I was thinking about questions. Now hear me out on this because I have to think about what I say, so just give me a little bit. So I was thinking to myself, questions. Now, I'm not saying this is everybody, and obviously I'm not going to touch on every subject in this video, but you know, I have come across people in my life that, you know, you ask too many questions, they get upset. And you wonder, like, why? You know, when you were younger, or even when you was younger and, you know, as a child and as a teenager, you ask questions to an adult figure or your parents, family, friends that may be older than you, that's your parents' friends, and they may get frustrated with you because you may be asking too many questions. Now, I was just wondering to myself, why do we get frustrated when we ask questions? And I've come to realize that I can't really answer that for everybody else. I can just go on my assumptions of what I think, and I'm guilty of it. I can say, for me, maybe for you guys as well, but I can say for me, and I'm working on this. This is something that is not something I want in my personality and my attitude and my self-well-being. I just don't want this, but I do feel it at times. And I'm human. Everybody's human. I can see occasionally like, questions. But when it's consistent and someone asks you questions and you're being consistent on having that attitude, being sharp with them. When I mean sharp, I mean quick. Or when I mean sharp, by just saying one word or two words, and they're getting the feeling that you don't want to be bothered. Whether it's your wife or your husband, your significant other, your child, your children, you know, you have to have, it just bottom line to me, it comes down to being passionate for that person and willing to give that person information, because that's all they're seeking. They're just seeking information. You don't know how to answer the question, or maybe you just have an attitude, or maybe you just feeling, or you're not feeling that well that day, but when you find yourself on an almost, I'm just going to say almost people, but if you feel yourself on an almost basis, when people ask you questions, you have a short fuse, there's something wrong with that. You have to be able to let someone ask a question, especially if it's directly towards you. Now, if it's a room full of people, you don't want to answer the question, okay. But if you have to, then, but if you don't want to be a part of it, don't be. But if it's directly towards you, it should not be a problem. And for me, I'm gonna say everything I just said. Maybe I don't want to feel stupid because I don't know it. Maybe I don't want to feel dumb, or I don't feel well that day, or I had a bad day at work, or whatever your excuse may be. But I was just thinking, like, man, why so many people in this world has such a short fuse on when people ask them questions? Like, you constantly, you know, and I'm not saying everybody. There's some people out here. There's a lot of people out here that do extremely well. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not sitting there saying, okay, a human, a person, an adult, a child asking you questions, and those questions went on for 15 minutes. Come on, y'all. Don't be dramatic. I'm just saying, you know, just answer the questions. Because if you realize, if you answer those questions, guess what? You can get to move on with your day. Now you don't answer the questions. Now you're feeling all some type of way. You're feeling a little uneasy. You got that person maybe a little upset. You never know. So you have to sometimes you have to put yourself in that person's predicament and go, man, was that the right thing to do? You know, just answer the questions, because guess what? When you have a question and you go to someone, how would you feel? Some of us can brush it off with no feelings at all. But let's be honest, y'all. Most of us is going to be a little annoyed. Like, what? Why do you do that? Why? What? I just ask a question. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to put yourself in those predicaments. And the reason why I'm talking about it, because I probably handled myself well, but maybe I didn't. But I was, in my lifetime, as time went on, even as a little boy, just people was very short with me with questions. Because I've always liked to ask questions. I always liked to ask questions. And last night, the reason why I'm bringing this up now, because last night my wife she asked me maybe 3 or 4 questions. And instantly I was like, why is she asking me all these questions? But I answered them, you know what I mean? I don't know if she felt that I didn't want to answer them, or I don't know if she felt like, oh, you're bothering me right now. Or I was in a zone, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter what you're doing at that point in time. Unless it's extremely important to say, I'll get back to you, you know what I mean? But at that time, I was doing what I had to do on my phone. I was looking up this, I was researching that, and my wife was asking me questions. I was a little short with her, which it was wrong, but that's the reason why I'm bringing this conversation up to you guys. Think about it. Talk to others and ask them, am I short with other people? Am I short with you? And am I short-tempered? Why am I that way? We all need to self-reflect occasionally. You know what I mean? We're not all walking around here thinking we're perfect gems. Come on, man. Nowhere near it. But that's the reason why I brought it out, because I was like, man, did I answer those questions properly? Did I didn't want her to think I was, brushing her off, or I didn't want her to think, man. But I answered the questions. She wanted to know what I was doing. I answered all those questions. I was just like, man, like a couple of minutes later, I was like, did I answer those properly? Hope I didn't have an attitude. When I think I have to check myself on something I did, that tells me that I need to work on myself being even better. I have to be better. I have to do better. I have to learn how to be able to communicate with people without the attitude. I have to learn how to be able to communicate with myself. I have to learn how to be able just to be a better all-around person. Be better with how I speak to people. Watch my facial reactions, because I make a lot of faces, everybody, and half the time it doesn't necessarily tell a story. I'm a person who makes faces, and I move my hands a lot. So yeah, I did that. And sorry for the sniffling. My nose is running a little bit. But I was like, man, you know what? This is a constant occurrence of a problem that comes up all the time. And I'm not saying in my life, but I'm pretty sure in other people's lives, because that's not, I don't have to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. But there's some people out there that need to ask a question to someone or a group of people every day, and some people may be a little snappy towards them, or give them an answer in in a facetious way. They got their question answered, but they're being mean. But you got to think. I think it's just self-awareness, and I've learned that people say, oh, you have to have common sense. You have to have common sense. I believe just like how you learned your job, just how someone taught you how to do your job, I don't think common sense I don't believe common sense is something you have. I believe common sense is something that has been taught. You have to teach people or your children to have common sense. You don't just naturally have common sense. That's some people have a natural ability that learns some things. Some people can automatically know how to do something and probably never did in their life. I've heard of situations like that when people are like, I've never done that before in my life. And then try whatever that was they tried. Whatever it was they tried and got it right. Whether they jumped on a backhoe and never drove a backhoe ever, but they did it right. All that person did was say this, and this, and try it. And they got it right. Or they driven a car and got it right the first time. Some people have that knack. You know what I mean? They can just boom. And then there's other people that have to work on that. Common sense is not something that you just automatically have. Maybe some people out here just have that. But we also have ignorance. So you have to think about when someone approach you. If someone approach you and ask you a question, think about that. If someone comes to you and asks you a question, whether it's your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, your uncle, your aunt, your mother, if they come to you with that question, obviously they believe you can answer it. Think about that. And when you turn that person away from you and you say, I don't know, how about don't say I don't know and be done with it. How about I don't know, but can you give me a second? I will get what you need so you can go from there. How about don't just push them off? How about just say, I don't know, go on about your merry way. Obviously, they trust you with the question. So why don't you try to get the information for them? You can't constantly push people away that's looking for information from you because they believe you may have the intelligence that can answer that particular question or questions. Sometimes you got to think about things that way. If it's something simple or something like that, okay, it's not a big deal. Still answer the question, but don't just be shooing them away like, okay, you're bothering me now, bye. Just have a little sympathy for the person and just say, okay, they're asking me this question because either they want to know what I'm doing, that's the type of question, or they're asking a question on, I need this information and you know it, so can you help me? It's kind of sad when someone comes to you and asks you a question on whatever it is, life, work, health, cars, sports, whatever it is, and then people, I don't know. Instead of saying I don't know, because you're too busy doing this, what's going on IG, or what's going on Twitter, or what's going on with your friends talking about. If someone is asking you a question, obviously they thought about, this person can get me that information if I need it. So why can't you take the time and say, I don't know it, but give me a second, I will get back to you. I will be back in a minute. Just give me a second. Find out what that information was. Make sure it's right. If you got to do a little research, do a little research. But let that person feel like they came to the right person to get that question answered. Probably was a little too deep with that, y'all, but come on. It's all about just being better, man. It's just we short-tempered. There's no need for that. Mean, there's no need for that. If your life messed up, fix it. Fix it. Questions, just answer them. Peace. Man, that boy hand ashy. Later, y'all. Peace.